Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of the Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania, presented by Home Again Disc Golf. This is the fourth and final round of this four-round event, hosted by the Norse gods. Eric and I would love to thank all the sponsors and volunteers that help make this event possible, as well as we would like to thank the Patreon family for supporting HyzerMedia. I'm Nathan Johnson, and today I am joined by the 95th best ranked player in the United States, Dylan Horst.
Good afternoon, Nathan. I'm super excited to watch this battle between four of the pretty much the studs in our area. Every single one of these players have been around for a decent amount of time, and they're here to battle it out.
Yeah, it should be a super exciting finish. All four of our lead card competitors are separated by just 2 strokes, so I'm sure we are in for a very exciting finish to this tournament.
And we're starting off on hole 1, par 3, 260 feet, decent amount of uphill right off the tee. The hardest part on this hole is to make sure that the disc stays straight enough for the full flight of the disc. Just because it's uphill, it's so hard to keep one of the discs just as straight as possible.
Yep, and then that left to right slope comes into play for sure, kind of bringing, as gravity brings the disc down. As you saw, Harry's kind of finished out down the hill, have an uphill putt for his birdie to start off his round.
Yeah, let's see if Lucas can best his drive from this morning, finish it a little left, and yeah, it looks like his shot is much better than this morning, giving himself a great opportunity for the putt.
Yep, this is the first we've seen Dave Dunn on coverage in this tournament, but he had a really nice third round, able to make his way onto the lead card, and he's off to a pretty good start with throwing that turnover forehand, giving himself a circle's edge look. Dave, is it for those of you who don't know?
Out.
Yep, and here's Jake.
Yep, rounding it out with Jake Ritchey, throwing a backhand mid-range. Yeah, Dave Dunn starting it off. Death behind. Just a long circle 2 putt and cashes it.
Wow, that is a great way to start your round. This is what we'd expect from the lead card in the final round of a B tier.
Exactly.
Yep, here's Jake. That's a great putt from Jake as well. Had to lean out with a little branch in his way, but not a problem.
Yeah, let's see if Lucas can round out the card with the first hole, first star frame of the round.
Wow,
and
quite impressive from our guys. Looking to keep the good vibes going.
Yep, hole 2, par 3, 206 feet. Thanks again to Elevation Disc for sponsoring the event and sponsoring this coverage for you. There are 2 different routes on this hole. You have the long stall hyzer, or you have the long turnover around the 3 trees to the left. So most of the time, it just depends on how a person's feeling. It looks like Harry's going to throw the hyzer out and around. And seems like it finished out in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, this is severely sloped left to right on this hole, so you want to land your disc as flat as possible. That's kind of what Lucas is going for here, throwing the turnover line. He's able to come in nice and soft into that green and check up to give himself a great look at a birdie.
Exactly, and coming in with that turnover, as long as the disc lands flat, it's just one less thing to worry about, so there's no squirreliness when it hits the ground, rolls away. It looks like Dave left it a little short, but with his first circle 2 putt made, I think he's feeling ready.
Yep, Jake comes up a little short as well. Those are going to be some scary putts downhill with death behind. We'll see if they give it a bid.
Yeah, Dave Dunn starting it off. Death behind. Just a long circle 2 putt and cashes it.
Wow, that is a great way to start your round. 2 circle 2 putts back to back from Dave. And yeah, he's looking to make some moves here.
Exactly. Cannot describe how intimidating this putt is for Jake. Oh, and Jake makes it as well.
What is going on?
They
These guys
came
are on
to
another
play.
level. Yeah, they really did. I think we're looking at back-to-back star frames if Lucas and Harry can convert from 15.
Yeah, I mean, these first two holes are by no means must-get because of the elevation that has to be combated on each one of these holes. But seems like our players doesn't phase them at all.
Yeah, they're unfazed. All four starting 2 under through 2. We love to see it. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going here on hole 3. It's a par 3, 222 feet. It's very much uphill, and you have this left to right moving shot. Some players will throw a spiky forehand, some will throw that turnover backhand. We'll see what our card decides to go with here.
Yeah, Harry looking like he's throwing a putter uphill, maybe a mid-range, just trying to make sure he gets it wide enough so it just misses the trees on the left, and then, yeah, just scoots it right up to the basket, which looks to be perfect.
Yep, great shot. Lucas kind of a little higher, a little more inside, but oh my God, he gives it an ace run, and he's going to be parked. What a shot.
It's great. Let's see if Dave can keep the momentum going. Just leaves it a little short and a little left. Didn't quite commit as much as the other two.
Yep, and then finally, Jake, this looks high. We'll see if it has the... Oh, it looks like it's understable enough to keep drifting. He'll have a inside the circle putt. All right, if Dave makes this one...
Yeah, then he's on a next level.
It's like a 70-footer uphill. Tries to give it a bid. Can't quite get it there, though, unfortunately. The streak is going to come to an end. For now.
For now.
But Jake's streak is not coming to an end anytime soon. That's 3 for 3 for him with another great circle's edge putt. And these other two guys pretty much parked.
And Lucas with a relatively easy putt right there. Keeps him going. And Harry as well.
Yeah. As we move into hole 4, it's a par 4, 394 feet. Again, a common theme on this course. Very much uphill. Your first shot, you kind of want to push straight, hugging the left side. If you miss this tree we're flying past right now, you'll be in a pretty good place to where you can kind of throw just either a chip hyzer or maybe even just a straight shot into the green, depending on where you land. There's a couple more trees to navigate, but if you have a good tee shot, the upshot is pretty straightforward, just quite uphill.
Exactly. And the only things you really have to worry about, I mean, it's the initial gap off the tee, and then if you push it too far straight, there is an out-of-bounds path. So you almost have to make sure it always finishes to the left. Seems like Harry put himself in a prime location, right over the little gully. He should have a nice, easy, relatively easy hyzer shot into the green.
Yep, Lucas leaves this one a little high and clips something, but I think he pushed forward enough that it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm sure he'll have a couple of lines available to find a way to get to the green from there.
And Jake, looks like he threw this a little bit inside, but nope, it still worked out. Perfect placement. And again, should just be an easy hyzer going right up to the green.
Yeah, if you hit this gap, it's almost impossible to go too far left. You really want to just get as left as possible, unless you do what Dave did there and just kind of leaves it low and takes a big flare skip. So I'm thinking it looks like he's lining up a forehand roller to try to climb this hill from this awkward angle.
Yeah, it's so tough to make sure the forehand roller goes as far as he wants. Yeah, like you said, he's just trying to get himself in position. And then Harry here trying to throw just a nice, simple hyzer just to get around the tree.
Yeah, that'll putt.
Exactly. Now Lucas has all the space to the right. Let's see if he can make a move. Yeah, that looks pretty fine as well.
Yeah, but he gets an unfortunate roll back down the hill, so that's going to be a long putt for Lucas. He was trying to go for more of a skip shot and just didn't quite get it in this pretty grabby, still little wet grass from the rain we had the previous day. But Jake, he's in perfect position off the tee. Just a nice, easy putter shot up to the basket to give himself a look.
And Dave with the stretch out forehand at this point might be giving it a soft run or just trying to get it up to the basket, which par is good, especially from where he started.
Yeah. So now Lucas got a long uphill circle 2 putt for his birdie, and he gets the roll, and that is a dream start for Lucas. 4 for 4, trying to keep the pressure on Harry.
Yeah, and this is the battle we've been waiting for.
Yeah, back to back. These guys both start 4 for 4. The young guns going back and forth, trying to take this tournament down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Dave and Jake are still not out of it. They still have plenty of golf left, but it's almost hard to catch somebody when they're on the high, when they're in the flow state, when they're just running on all cylinders.
Yeah, and hopefully they can keep this flow state going. Hole 5, it's probably one of the easier holes on the course for most of these players. It's just going to be a nice and easy backhand hyzer. 222 plays a little farther than that due to the uphill, so you just want to make sure you take a stable mid or maybe fairway driver and put it nice and wide and give yourself a putt.
Exactly. Looks like Harry here leaves it just a tad bit short, but he's still going to have a nice circle's edge, maybe into circle 2 putt. See if he can get the putter rolling.
Yep. Lucas tried to give it a little more. I think he's going harp here. Leaks it a little left, but that'll still give him a putt, probably edge of circle as well.
Exactly. Yeah, he's still going to be in a good spot. I think he penetrated far enough to make it work. And then Jake here, trying to throw just a nice hyzer, just to get up and down, see what he can do.
Yeah, that's more what you're looking for. Just gives himself maybe 20-foot putt, a little left, but definitely will play.
Exactly.
Dave's trying to turn things around here after a couple pars on the last 2 holes. He gives this a great line, makes the correction from the other guys on the card, and is pretty much parked for his birdie.
That was a great toss by Dave, almost giving it a run. Just needed a little more juice.
Oh, and Harry
the
off the band. A great bid.
Great commitment. Give himself an opportunity.
And that's a great putt from Lucas for his birdie. Just outside the circle, sneaks it over the band, and he's finally taken a stroke on Harry after a really great start from both of them, and we have a tie at the top.
Yeah, and then Jake, let's see if he can make a move here. Relatively simple putt. Yup, perfect. Great
right
putt
on the
by
strike.
Jake. And
Yeah, we
Dave
really
just
have.
around.
Yeah, we have the pleasure of this card. We have some really solid putters. Jake, obviously, inside the circle is incredible. And Dave last year, I believe, was top 10 at the World Putting Championships. So definitely a very capable putter.
Exactly.
All right, hole 6 here, brought to you by the Norse gods. The drone is going to take, let's call it the path less traveled. I don't think anybody's going to try to play the hole this wide. Most players are going to go inside the grouping of trees that you see on the left and try to play it closer to where you'll see the short green basket. And then you'll have a tricky little approach depending on where you land into this par 4. It's only 554, but you could definitely get into some trouble if you hit an early tree. That's a great shot from Lucas. Just hits the gap, pushing those backside trees that I talked about and fading right back into the middle of the fairway. That's almost textbook for what you want to do. So Jake's going to try to match that here. Little inside, but he gets lucky, so that'll definitely play. He'll probably, well, we'll see. He'll have options from there. There isn't really a quote-unquote fairway on the second half of this hole. It's more of a, trees scattered here and there, pick your own adventure kind of situation. So can't really tell you what these players will go with until they get up to their lie and see all their options and decide how they want to play it. Harry likes to go on this left-hand side gap with a turnover. It's definitely a little more risky because that OB path comes into play on the left. And it looks like he stayed in bounds, though. Here's Dave's second shot. He's going to try to flex a forehand through, but just catches a late tree. So he'll have to scramble for his par. Now Jake looks like he's going to try to play a hyzer here down the right-hand side and just pulls it a little bit. He says, cut the cameras. You don't need to see that.
And then Harry here off to the left-hand side has to maneuver a shot through these trees. But, yeah, seems like he found the nice gap. Might have banked something on the way in. How unfortunate.
Yep. He'll just have to scramble for par, but fortunate to stay in bounds on that drive after leaking it a little bit left. Here's Jake's third now, and he almost throws it in, but he's going to be punished because this green slopes away from the basket, so that'll be a long comebacker to save his par.
And Dave here just throwing it up to the basket, taking his medicine, just moving on. And Harry here trying to see what he can do, maybe give it a potential long bid.
Yeah, maybe a little half run, downhill, long putt. Ooh, just a little off, little short, little left, but doesn't go too far past, so should be a simple par from there.
And Jake here seeing what he could do. Circle two and just off to the left, just a little early on the putt.
Yep, so we'll have a couple par cleanups on this hole, and then the unfortunate bogey from Jake. Or wait, is this a birdie look from Lucas?
We will see.
Oh, it
is.
is.
The birdie, yep.
Wow, so is he 6 down through 6?
He is.
Absolute fire start after a rough third round from Lucas. Ended up at even par. Lost a lot of strokes to the field.
Now we're at hole 7. We're playing the green basket, par 3, 286 feet. It's mostly downhill, probably drops about 20 to 30 feet, maybe even more. Probably plays closer to 240. There are a bunch of different options here. You can go up the gut. It's a little unconventional given the amount of airspace you have.
Or you could do what Lucas is doing here and just trying to pop a harp up along that left-hand side just to make sure it floats down the hill and then finishes a little bit to the right.
Yep, the distance control is the most important thing on this hole. 286, very downhill, so you just want to try to land something as close to the basket as possible. Lucas looks like he goes a little deep, but he'll have a makeable putt there to keep his hot streak going.
And Dave here trying to better that just by a little bit, kind of follows suit, maybe a little short as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's easy to let this one leak right on this hole, especially with the slope, and your disc tends to skip and roll in that direction too. As we see Harry make the same mistake with his backhand turnover, almost hits the folks on the next hole's tee pad.
Yeah, and Jake here, let's see if he can turn it around after the last hole. Getting an unfortunate par.
He just leaves it a little wide, catches a branch, and that knocks it just straight down. This is going to be a tricky little approach here, probably 150 feet or so, very much downhill. That's really well done, though. Sticks it close.
Yeah, very well. Right underneath the basket. Decent amount of space for a putt, but I believe he has it. Harry trying to run this one.
Yeah, just a little off from Harry. Dave here, a little closer, maybe 45. Ooh, just off.
Lucas to try to stay on track for perfection.
Not maybe thinking about that perfection a little too much got in his head. Just a little off left, not uncommitted there.
Yeah, but it's still a great start by Lucas. I mean, he had a couple hiccups in the first round here, and he basically turned every single one of those holes around. I think this was the only hole that he didn't best his score. So,
yeah,
and I think maybe the last one with the birdie, but hey, dream start.
Yes, definitely a dream start. giving himself a chance to win the tournament. That's really all you can do, right? Just keep yourself in it until the end, and then hopefully you get a couple good breaks in the back nine, and yeah, hopefully things go the way he wants them to. But we'll see. Harry's not going to go down easily. As we see a par frame from our card on hole 7, they'll be looking to turn things around on the difficult hole 8.
Yeah, hole 8, par 3, 357 feet. The drone's going to take us through the straight gap, which is the more intimidating gap off the tee. You can on this hole, down the gap, it's a long turnover. Usually if you have the power mid-range or a fairway driver, but I think a lot of these players are going to be playing the hyzer around the outside just because it takes the OB cart path on the left-hand side out of play. And this way, worst case, hopefully you would just get a par and still get the distance close to the basket and give yourself a long look.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the right-hand side's a little squirrely. Tough to get the distance because you're going so wide, but yeah, definitely the safe play. And this is maybe the most bonus birdie on the course, so you're not losing too many strokes with a par.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems like all of our players tended to take that gap, and it seems like they're all on the outside looking in. We'll see if anybody can convert.
Yep, we'll have a couple long putts. Jake, he does elect for the up the gut. Just overturned it a little bit, catches a tree on that right-hand side, and he'll have to pitch up for his par.
Yeah, Lucas here trying to throw a nice little forehand through the gap, just to get on up to the basket. Seems like he got up there pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like he caught a branch and kicked down, so he's going to have a long look for his par at this point. Jake with a nice little pitch up. That'll save his par on this one.
Steve just looking for a nice long turnover up to the green. Give it a little bit of a half bid. That's free par.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. Lucas now from deep to try to save his par. It's probably 80-footer or so, and just didn't quite give it a chance. Leaked out left, and it's going to be an unfortunate bogey after his hot start kind of cooling off a little bit. And now Harry to try to take 2 strokes from Lucas from maybe edge of circle 2, and he bangs it. Wow, what a putt. That was incredible. Lucas opens the door a little bit here on hole 8, and Harry is ready to step in. We'll take another look.
Yeah, it was a great putt. I was right behind Harry, watched him just have that nice, just enough power just to get it into the corner pocket. He was super stoked about that one.
Yeah, perfect weight on the putt. Drops it in. No chains needed. That was awesome.
Yeah, Lucas with the unfortunate bogey, but he still has, he's still playing well. He's throwing well, just a couple unfortunate breaks in this last hole. But he could still walk into, hole 9 and the whole back 9 and still grind and still see what he can do to maintain his position and see if he can get on top of the leaderboard.
For sure, yeah. Plenty of disc golf left to play, starting with hole 9 here. It's par 3, very much downhill, 365 feet. Most guys you're going to probably see play a forehand just because it's safer with that OB road on the left-hand side. But the purists will tell you that you should probably be throwing some sort of slow turning back in mid-range. But we'll see. We'll see what everybody elects to go with. It looks Harry's lining up the forehand.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like he undercommitted a little bit and finished off a little right, but that's okay. He should have a nice little gap through there. Actually might be a nice tunnel for him.
Yeah, he landed in a fortunate spot. A lot of times when you land over in that bush, the ceiling is so low that you almost don't have a putt. So Dave here, he's pushing this well wide over the out of bounds, and it doesn't quite come back. Oh, just a couple inches as he stays at OB.
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate break for Dave. He threw the shot well, just a little bit too much on it, just to turn that forehand over. While Jake here, throwing a nice putter downhill, just a long turnover, puts himself in position to get the birdie.
Yeah, that was a really nice shot from Jake. Great stability choice. just to keep the disc straight and ever so slightly drifting to the right to give himself a putt.
Now, Lucas, you're trying to correct from the first round when he overturned it. Looks like you did a pretty good job. Still a little short. It's going to be a pretty tough angle there, but we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see if he has a putt with the low ceiling. It might be tricky. As Jake with like a 60-footer. What is happening on this card?
They are just on fire on the putting green, and I think ever since the first hole and the second hole, they are all feeling it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right, where once a couple folks on the card start making long putts, like everybody just starts to get in this groove, and in the flow state. And yeah, they're all feeling it right now. That is awesome.
Yeah, Harry, a little unfortunate, wasn't able to convert. Dave here trying to convert on the par. And
just a little high.
That's unfortunate, yeah.
It's going to be a tough bogey from Dave. Kind of dropping him, starting to leak out of contention here. He's leaked some strokes on the last couple holes, and he's going to be 5 strokes back. It looks like heading into the back 9. Not impossible to come back from, but with the way Harry and Lucas and Jake are playing right now, he's going to need some help.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there are some opportunities on the back 9, so it's everybody's game at this point. We saw it earlier with Harry taking a 2-stroke swing on one of the holes. Sometimes it's all it takes. Somebody lets that door open, though. We'll see if somebody steps through.
We will see. Thank you to Elevation Discs and Tono Group for supporting the tournament and the coverage. We really appreciate it. Don't go far, because we have the exciting conclusion to the Disc Golf Open of Pennsylvania coming right up with the back 9. So stick around.